everybody, here's your quick 5-minute introduction to our next reading from Plato, Knowledge versus Opinion. This comes from Plato's work, The Republic. Okay, so let's fill in some context first. So first of all, I want you to remember some of the claims that Plato made in Meno. First of all, he says that all knowledge is recollection. We are not really learning anything new. We are simply remembering it. And remember the example that he uses with the slave boy of how to double the area of a square. And he believes that he has shown that the slave boy is not learning how to do that geometry, but he is recalling or remembering how to do it. He also in Meno mentions his argument that knowledge is different than mere true belief or opinion. Knowledge is fastened down by understanding. In Republic, which is the selection you're going to read today, Plato is arguing for a society that's ruled by philosopher kings. He believes that philosophers are the ones who are best suited to be leading a society of people. However, in this book, he spends a significant amount of time once again talking about the nature of knowledge. And for him, epistemology and metaphysics are very closely related. Okay, so the Republic is again written with a lot of dialogue. It's the format in the book is going to look a little different. It's not written like a script, but it is a dialogue. This time it is Socrates talking to his friend Glaucon. And here you're gonna get Plato defending, or rather Socrates defending his position that philosopher kings would make the best rulers. And he's going to dig in this selection to the epistemological questions surrounding what knowledge is and why true philosophers are best suited to rule a society. So he's going to define true philosophers as lovers of wisdom or of knowledge, of truth. And then he's going to suggest that knowledge is different from opinion and requires a different faculty. It is through our rational thinking that we acquire knowledge, while we require opinions through our senses empirically. So, he concludes, therefore, they must have different objects. We use our rational capacity to acquire knowledge. We use our empirical senses to acquire opinion, right? So he's going to go off on the benefits of rationalism over empiricism. He's not going to use those terms, but you should be able to see that in the text. So his argument, right? His argument is going to really hinge on this big difference between opinion and knowledge. And it's going to be connected to his metaphysics, which we haven't looked at yet, but we've talked a little bit about in terms of the forms, right? So the forms represent knowledge, whereas the actual objects, the sensory objects, are going to represent opinion. So while you are reading, consider these questions. Can you clearly articulate how Socrates is able to distinguish knowledge from opinion? What does he mean when he says knowledge and opinion are different faculties? And why does he then conclude they have different objects? What then does he conclude about philosophers and what they are interested in and why they would make the best rulers? And what do you think? Get into criticism. Think about that connection. Look at this chart. How does his thinking about knowledge and opinion relate to his idea of the forms? Do you agree that knowledge and opinion are different in the ways that Socrates is describing? Do you agree with his definition of a true philosopher? And finally, some contemplation questions. Do you think that there is a difference, right? This is not on Plato's terms or Socrates' terms, just on your own terms. Is there a meaningful difference between knowledge and opinion? What do you think about the theory of the forms as it relates to epistemology? Do you think that there is something like that? And lastly, I'd like to introduce the idea that there are many mathematicians today who consider themselves Platonists. They believe that there are actually abstract mathematical objects whose existence is independent of us. They exist whether we are here or not. They exist in something like Plato's world of ideas. This epistemological view has metaphysical implications. What do you think about that? Okay, so good luck reading. This is, let's see, you'll be reading through page 18 and then come back prepared to discuss these questions. All right, good luck.